Picture this. You wake up, grab your glucose meter, check the number, and it's higher than yesterday, higher than the day before. And you know for a fact, last night you did nothing wrong. No cake, no soda, no late dinner out, just a regular evening at home. So what went wrong? What? The problem may not start in the morning. It may start at night, specifically in that hour or two between dinner and bed, when you feel like you already did everything right. But your body is still working, and not always in the direction you'd hope. Today I want to share one old, very simple evening habit, not a supplement, not a detox, not a program. One ingredient, a glass of water, and what happens after. After 60, your body processes food differently. That's not a weakness, it's physiology. Muscle mass decreases, and muscle is your body's main consumer of glucose. Insulin works a little slower. A dinner that used to pass without a trace in your 40s can now leave a mark all the way until morning. But here's what most people miss. The real danger isn't dinner itself. The real danger is the second dinner. That 9:30 moment when the dishes are done, the TV is off, and suddenly the kitchen is calling. One cookie, a handful of crackers, a small bowl of cereal. It's basically nothing. Your body disagrees. Here's why it happens. After a fast rise in blood sugar comes a drop, and that drop feels like hunger, like restlessness, like I just need a little something. That's not weak willpower. That's biochemistry, and that's exactly where vinegar becomes an interesting tool. Not because it's magic, but because it affects speed. You've probably seen those videos. Someone does a shot of apple cider vinegar, makes a face, and says it changed their life. Well, I'm going to tell you something important about that approach. It's not just unpleasant. It can actually cause harm. And I'll explain exactly why in just a minute. But first, let's talk about how this actually works. The main compound in apple cider vinegar is acetic acid. That's what gives it the sharp, sour taste. And acetic acid has one interesting property. It may slow gastric emptying. That means carbohydrates from dinner enter your bloodstream more gradually, instead of all at once. For some people, that may mean a lower blood sugar peak, a gentler drop afterward, and weaker late-night hunger. Not a drug, not a treatment, just a different speed. Research suggests that for some people, a small amount of vinegar after a carb-containing meal does help support a steadier blood sugar response. The effect is modest, but for an evening ritual, that may be enough. And honestly, the vinegar is only part of it. The bigger thing is that the ritual gives your evening a clear ending. Dinner done, drink done, mouth rinsed, kitchen closed. That matters more than most people realize. The method is almost embarrassingly simple. After dinner, especially after a meal with bread, grains, or anything sweet, take 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar and stir it into a full glass of water. That's 8 ounces, about 250 milliliters, a standard drinking glass filled all the way. Not halfway, all the way. Dilution isn't just about taste. It protects your throat, stomach lining, and tooth enamel from direct acid contact. Drink it slowly, then rinse your mouth with plain water. Don't brush your teeth right after. Acid temporarily softens enamel, so give it a few minutes to recover first. If 1 teaspoon feels fine after a week, you can move up to 1 tablespoon. That's the upper limit for most people. More is not better. This is the question I get most often. Do you need some special apple cider vinegar, or is the bottle at your local grocery store good enough? Short answer, regular grocery store vinegar works. But there are 2 things worth checking on the label. First, acidity. Look for 5% or 6% acidity. That's the standard food-grade concentration used in most research. If the bottle says 5% acetic acid, you're good. If you see something stronger, like a cleaning or pickling vinegar, skip it. It's too harsh for daily use. Anything weaker than 4% likely won't do much. Second, ingredients. Ideally, apple cider vinegar. That's it. No added flavors, no sweeteners, no colorings. Flip the bottle over. The ingredient list should be boring. One item. Now, about With the Mother. That's the unfiltered kind with a cloudy sediment at the bottom, left over from natural fermentation. You'll see it on brands like Bragg. It may have some extra benefits from the live cultures, but there's no strong evidence it improves the blood sugar effects specifically. If it's available and reasonably priced, fine. If not, a standard filtered 5% ACV works just as well. Bottom line, look for apple cider vinegar at 5 to 6% acidity. No added ingredients. Your regular supermarket is fine. The expensive organic version is optional. And one last thing for this section. No honey, no juice, no sugar in the glass. This isn't a bedtime treat. It's a small, sour ritual that tells your body, dinner is over. Now, here's what most videos like this won't tell you. 4 ways to take this simple habit and turn it into a problem. First story. Mary saw an ACV shot challenge online and decided to try it. 1 teaspoon, straight from the bottle, no water. The next day, heartburn she hadn't had in years. After a week, she quit. Not because vinegar doesn't work, but because straight vinegar is acid, and acid irritates your esophagus. Always dilute, always. Second story. Robert figured if 1 tablespoon helps, 3 must help 3 times as much. 2 weeks later, stomach pain, and a conversation with his doctor because he was also taking blood sugar medication. More is not more. 1 teaspoon to start. 1 tablespoon is enough for most people. Some may go slightly higher, only with good tolerance, but don't push it. Third trap, those bottled ACV drinks from the store. Nice packaging, says apple cider vinegar drink on the front. You flip it over. Ingredient number 1 is apple juice. Number 2 is honey. Apple cider vinegar shows up 5th. You're paying for a sweet drink with a splash of vinegar for the name. Buy plain vinegar and a glass of water. It's cheaper and it's honest. Fourth mistake, and the most common. A plate of pasta, bread, dessert, a sweet drink. And then, but I had my vinegar so it's fine. It's not. Vinegar doesn't cancel dinner. It works as support for a reasonable dinner, not as forgiveness for an unreasonable one. If you take insulin, metformin, or any blood sugar medication, talk to your doctor before making vinegar a daily habit. Not because it's inherently dangerous, but because it does have a real effect on blood sugar, and your doctor should know about it. If you have acid reflux, GERD, gastritis, ulcers, kidney disease, low potassium, sensitive teeth, or recent dental work, be cautious. If you feel burning or discomfort, stop. This may simply not be the right ritual for your body. One more thing that rarely comes up: gastroparesis, delayed stomach emptying, which is actually common in people with diabetes. Vinegar may slow the stomach further. For most people, that's the whole point. But if you already have slow digestion, bloating, or nausea related to gastroparesis, this could make it worse. If that diagnosis applies to you, check with your doctor first. I want to tell you something that doesn't fit the usual health video script. The most important effect of this ritual isn't chemical, it's a decision. When your evening has a clear ending, one small intentional moment, you're less likely to drift back to the kitchen. Not because vinegar suppresses appetite, but because the ritual tells your brain, that's it, dinner is done. That's behavioral psychology, and it's underestimated. Here's a simple way to find out if this works for you. 7 evenings in a row. 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in a full 8-ounce glass of water after dinner. Rinse. That's it. Don't change anything else at the same time. Watch for 4 things. 1. Do you still feel pulled back to the kitchen? 2. How do you wake up? Hungry and unsettled or more stable? 3. How does your stomach feel? 4. If you already track your blood sugar, note your morning readings under similar dinner conditions. If you feel any discomfort, stop. If nothing changes, this may just not be your tool. And that's fine. If you notice a difference, you've got one simple, inexpensive ritual that's worth keeping. One small evening habit won't undo years of eating patterns. But sometimes it's the thing that starts the chain. Not because it's powerful on its own, but because it's doable. Because you can repeat it tomorrow and the day after. And repeatability is where real change begins. Next video, honey. Biblical, natural, familiar to everyone, and very easy to use wrong after 60. Not because it's bad, but because timing and amount change everything. I think it'll surprise you. Before you go, a question for the comments. Would you try this 7-night test? Or is vinegar off the table for you because of reflux or another health concern? Write try it or avoid it below. And if you already use apple cider vinegar, tell me how, diluted with meals or before bed.